Yeah, I just, Joe sort of gave me this explanation the other day, and I thought a lot about it. And I thought, before the 2016 election, did I really know what the Trump vote? I'm not a Trump voter. Did I know what the Trump voters were thinking? And I have to say, I didn't know what half the country were thinking. And now when I see articles, say on Facebook, where it talks about what they were thinking, or articles liberal articles, there'll be conversations going on both sides, and I am fascinated by that. I do go and look at those conversations and comments, and often I don't understand why people hate, and it's shocking. And then but I have a sociology background too, and a law background, and I do find it fascinating and educational, and it makes me feel in touch with and have compassion for the other side, or other people, and what they're going through, and that my situation is not necessarily the right situation, or that my thinking is not always correct, but that it gives me sort of a bridge to sort of learn about others and have sort of a broader understanding, even if I don't agree. But the last sort of item, I know it's getting to quarter to, was what are the key things that you stand for, that you want our neighbors to remember about you?
Well, I mean, that die is probably cast. I'm never going to forget this. This last
really
week will probably
sort of moving on to you as a candidate, because
right.
What distinguishes you from Gil? What do you stand for? Like bringing a fresh perspective of knowledge from the street level and from the grassroots level, understanding firsthand the challenges of small businesses, renters, families, safe places to play for kids, that sort of thing. What are the kind of the key takeaways about you as a candidate?
I've had the experience recently of talking to a lot of people from the Central American community in this district who backed a younger candidate from their neighborhood, a young man named Giovanni Hernandez. Got the support from a lot of Honduran, Nicaraguan, and Salvadorian people that are primarily based in the southern portion of this district, in Pico Union, Westlake MacArthur Park, and there's many of them scattered throughout Northeast LA, but they go down there for the food, the culture, their family, the connections. They've gotten in touch since the debate last Monday at Codicen, and I've had a number of meetings with them. And in politics, I've learned there are people, I think like many of us here, who have local issues that we want to have addressed. And in Pico Union, they're no different. But when you meet someone and you don't know them, because I don't know these people, I don't know the people I've spoken with, we're strangers to each other, it's much more straightforward. I don't want to say transactional, but emotionally, it is a bit transactional. They don't necessarily want me to promise the park playground, or the extra patrol car in their neighborhood, or that their street is fixed. What I promise them is a level of political legitimacy that no one in our system can offer right now. And it goes like this. Gil Cedillo has taken massive amounts of money, primarily from outside of this city, and definitely from outside of this district. There's a Feel the Burn Democratic Club that had their second meeting last 2 weeks ago, and they prepared a wonderful flyer, and I've got it with me here. This is as of last Monday. So 98% of my contributions have come from individuals, 69% of his have come from individuals. 83% of my donors are from within Los Angeles, and 44% of his are from within Los Angeles. 94% of mine are under the $700 limit, only 25% of his are. 77% of my donors are from within the CD1 zip codes, and only 25% of his are. There's the financial legitimacy that I couldn't have built this campaign with any other financial base but the one that exists here in the city. A few of my uncles from Central California that kicked in $700, notwithstanding. There's also political legitimacy, because the campaign that I've built with all of you has not been about leveraging the amassed wealth and resources of the trash companies and the, I don't want to knock them, but the public employee unions who have been donating to this campaign, the Chamber of Commerce, the large capital interest groups, the big engineering firms, they have insulated him and every politician in this town from really needing to give a damn about us. And particularly in Pico Union, they have seen 15, 17 years of dire neglect. We were at a meeting last night, and the local police officer talked about the same thing you talk about here. Lock it up, hide your purse, don't leave your bag in your car, lock your windows, it's summertime, there are people coming to steal stuff. And a man raised his hand when she was done with her talk, and he said, "Excuse me, but there was a shooting down the street yesterday. We were canvassing, and we saw the bullet holes in the car, and didn't know, maybe they'd been parked there for a while. There was a shooting yesterday, and then the day after that, there was another shooting." And the police officer said in the last week and a half, there had been 8 shootings in the neighborhood because there's a gang war. The level of political neglect can only be addressed by leaders that draw their legitimacy from the people that they're governing. And we have someone in office right now, we have someone in this city right now who does not draw their legitimacy from the people that they're governing. And that is what my candidacy has offered this city and this district. Someone who owes it to these neighborhoods. It is not my pleasure, it is not my distinct honor. I owe it to the people that are here tonight, I owe it to the people of this city to do my work, because if I don't, it will take nothing for someone to snap their fingers and run against me in 5.5 years. It would take nothing for someone to try and recall me on grounds, because I don't have the financial base that insulates these people from needing to care about whether we live or die, whether our lives are happy or not, whether we're successful or whether we fail. And that's what I've given the people of Pico Union, and I think that's what my race represents citywide and structurally. Politicians that owe it to their constituents, that cannot act in the insulation of all the amassed wealth of big companies and big businesses. And I think that's why this campaign finance summary from the Field of Burn Club for me was a really significant thing. I'd never really seen it tallied up this way. My top 3 donor occupations, the top one is retired. The top one for my opponent is real estate developer. I mean, it's just it's a bit surprising when you see it that starkly, and it's helped me gain supporters in Pico Union. So that's really what I think my campaign represents: legitimacy, political legitimacy. That I owe it to this community, and I would not be here if it weren't for all of you. And again, I've been so crushed by what has happened in the last 6 days. The only thing I've been able to do is pick myself up, call everyone that I can, and we've still got, we're trying to figure it out now, $52,000 to $60,000 in the bank. We're going to send out some mail. We're definitely going to be canvassing this weekend. We've run out of collateral, the cards and the flyers and stuff, so we called the print shop, and it's on. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do with my life and myself and our neighborhood. So if you feel similarly, I think the right thing to do is to get involved again, if you can. And I know I've been quite long-winded. A politician who isn't, I think, isn't a politician at this point. Thank you all for your patience, and thank you so much for doing this meeting all the way from Chicago. Phoning it in.